Today we're taking you to Athens, the capital city of Greece, the home of the Acropolis and the Parthenon, where hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of portions of this dish are served every single day. Some people call it moussaka, but in Greece they call it moussaka. So let's dig it. Can I finish this before we start? No? Oh, okay. Vamos a cocinar. Let's get cooking. First up is a beautiful eggplant. In fact, 3 beautiful eggplants, or aubergine, depending on whereabouts you come from. So all we need to do is take the top off the aubergine, and then we're just going to cut it into slices. So we're looking for about 1 centimetre or 1/3 of an inch thickness. So the 2 things we need to change about the aubergine is that it has a slight bitterness to the taste, and it's probably got a little bit too much moisture for your moussaka. So we cure both of those things by just laying them out on a baking tray, cover them with a little bit of salt, and the salt will take the bitterness away and will also dehydrate them. We're going to set those aside for about 20-25 minutes. Next up, we want 3 medium-sized potatoes. I have to show you this as well. One of our subscribers sent me this. This is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much indeed to Trish. That was very kind of you. Why is it so good? Because any waste you've got on the work surface, you don't have to work in the mess. You just peel your potatoes straight into the box. Take your peelings, move them to one side. So again, with this, we're looking for 1 centimetre or 1/3 of an inch slices in the potato. Once you have your potatoes sliced, lay them out on a baking tray. Always a good idea to put some paper down, some baking paper down so that it prevents them from sticking. Just simply lay them all out evenly in lines. Then we're going to coat them with olive oil using spray extra virgin olive oil. Then we want to season them. A little bit of sea salt over the top and a little bit of cracked black pepper. And then they're going to go into the oven, which was preheated at 200 degrees C or 392 degrees Fahrenheit. So our aubergine has been salting for about 20-25 minutes now. So I'm going to take these away and we're going to wash the salt off. Okay, all nicely washed off. Now we're going to shallow fry these, so it is very important that we dry them all off. Okay, so your oil is it's kind of a medium temperature. We don't want it too hot, otherwise it'll burn it, because we're only just going to try and brown these off. Maybe a minute each side. Okay, so we want just a tiny little bit of colour. Bring the eggplant out and put it onto kitchen paper, because that will absorb the excess oil. Fantastic. Okay, on to the next batch. So our aubergine is a little bit of colour, but all nicely shallow fried, and our potatoes should be ready now, so they can come out of the oven. Ooh, look at these, lovely. So you can see a little bit of colour just around the edges. They're perfect. Okay, so now it's time for the meat sauce. So behind me, we have turned the oven down to 180 degrees, 375 degrees Fahrenheit, ready for when our moussaka goes into the oven. So the meat sauce, you need a large saucepan, and we're going to go in with a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And then you want 1 large diced onion. Along with that, 2 medium-sized diced carrots. Along with that, 1 stick of diced celery. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave this in the bottom of the pan on a medium to high heat, stirring occasionally, and we're going to let these vegetables colour up. So we've got I've got a little bit of colour in that, which will really add to the flavour. You can see the onions are really starting to caramelise up. So we're going to go in with 1 tablespoon of tomato paste or tomato puree. Next in is your 2 cloves of diced garlic. And this needs to be in on its own without the meat for about a minute, because your garlic is something which will burn quite quickly. Next in is 700 grams of ground or minced beef. And we're looking to brown this meat, so we don't want to go to a next stage until this meat is nicely browned. So our sauce now needs some liquid, so we're going in with 240 ml or 1 cup of beef stock and 240 ml or 1 cup of tomato passata. So what we want to try and do now is bring it back up to temperature as quickly as we possibly can. So we're going to do that with the help of a lid. So very quickly it's up to temperature. So we're going in with half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of allspice. I don't know if you've ever used allspice before. Some people have used it quite often. But it's actually Jamaican pepper. You can see the peppercorns, the Jamaican peppercorns. And all we've done is we've just ground those up in a pestle and mortar. So it's half a teaspoon of allspice, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 2 bay leaves, and then probably half a teaspoon of cracked black pepper and a teaspoon of salt. So just going to turn this down to a little bit of a lower temperature. Stick the lid back on it, let it run for 20 to 25 minutes whilst we move on to the bechamel sauce. So we have 700 millilitres of milk, and the seasoning for the sauce in the main goes into the milk. So we want a pinch, and only a pinch, because this stuff is powerful, a pinch of nutmeg. And then we want 2 bay leaves, and I'm going to give you a secret ingredients, but you promise not to tell anybody. If I give you this secret ingredients, you're sworn to secrecy, okay? Plain old vegetable stock cube, crumbled into your milk, gives it so much flavour, it is unbelievable. Okay, so we're going to put the heat on that, and we're going to let that warm up. So you want 175 ml or 3/4 of a cup of extra virgin olive oil. Put that into the pan and allow that to get some temperature. So whilst your olive oil is coming up to temperature, we're going to do a quick taste test on the meat sauce, which has now been simmering under the lid for about 20-25 minutes. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's fantastic. It's going to be hot. Oh, you can smell the cinnamon straight away. The first thing that hits you, isn't it? It's bizarre. You've got all those ingredients in there, but the number one thing that hits you is the cinnamon. Oh, wow. Doesn't need anything else. That is absolutely bang on. Okay, 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, and into that's 3/4 of a cup of plain or all-purpose flour. And we're going to stir the two together. You get a nice smooth texture. Now you want to leave the flour in the oil for a couple of minutes before you start adding the milk, so that the flour can start to cook out and the gluten in the flour can start to activate, because that is the thing that will thicken your sauce. Add milk into the sauce, so a ladle at a time, and you'll see straight away that it thickens. You'll see how the milk incorporates into the sauce. Okay, so all the milk is in, all incorporated, and you can see how thick it is. That's exactly what you're looking for. I'm going to add 3 egg yolks, because when the moussaka is in the oven and it comes out to cool, we want this sauce to set. So the egg yolks will help the sauce to set. Now the cheese, in Greece, they will use a cheese called Graviera. Here in Spain we can't get Graviera, so we're using a hard cheese called Manchego. Any strong hard cheese will do. And we've got 1 cup of that, or 225 grams. So what we're going to do is we're going to put probably 2/3 of it now into the sauce, and we're going to leave 1/3 to the side for the topping when we've finished. The heat from the sauce will melt the cheese, And you end up with this beautiful, look at that, beautiful bechamel. It's a lovely colour with the egg in it. It makes it give it kind of like a yellowy tinge. Now for the exciting bit, now for the build. Another tip for you, it's a day for tips today, isn't it? You're going to be putting your moussaka into a lovely roasting dish. So put a metal dish underneath, because if it does bubble over for whatever reason, this will catch it. It doesn't stick to the bottom of your oven. I have to show you this. This is from Peugeot. How lovely is this? I thought Peugeot built cars, but they make very, very, very nice roasting trays as well. So into the bottom of the dish, we want our pre-cooked potatoes. Next, we're going to go in with the aubergine, covering over the potatoes. On top of the aubergine, we want our delicious meat sauce. However, do not forget that earlier we put some bay leaves in there. So remember to take them out. Okay, oh, look at that. Okay, then we take our lovely thick bechamel. Get it as flat and as even as you can on the top. No gaps. You remember the hard cheese that we saved back? The manchego, that goes on the top. Then I'm just going to finish this off with some finely grated Parmesan cheese. And it's going to go into the oven, which remember we turned down, so it's at 180, 375 for about 40 minutes. So I wouldn't recommend taking this out of the oven if you've got children around, because they'll want to get into it straight away. And it's really important to leave it for 40 to 45 minutes. The heat will stay, don't worry about that, but it just needs to calm down and set after coming out of the oven. And then you can carve it up into delicious portions. Here we go. Oh wow. There's so many flavours going on there. Richness of the beef, the cheese, the creaminess of the sauce, the potato. That is delicious. Great, great dish. If you want to pop it back in the fridge, let it cool off overnight and portion it out tomorrow. You can then put it in the freezer and pull it out when you've had a late night and you just want something tasty to eat. It's superb. Thank you very much for watching. This I'm going to enjoy.